You got to work on your business instead of in your business. So we're back where we started. What direction do you want to go? How do you get there? How do you get out of the day-to-day grind? I don't want you to work harder. I want you to work less and make more. Hey, it's the Profit Answer Man, Rocky Lalvani. If you're new to the podcast, check out my interview with Mike Michalowicz. It's episode number 2. If you want to hear about each chapter in the Profit First book, go back and listen to episodes 3 through 13. Episode 1 is the why and how. On the Profit Answer Man, we learn money mastery without all the complicated accounting mumbo-jumbo using a simple system. Your accountant is busy documenting your transactions and creating a rearview mirror of what happened. My guess is you don't even look at the reports they sent you. If you're like most business owners, you struggle with this. And it's not your fault. We aren't taught money in school, and accountants aren't taught how to be profitable. The Profit First system created by Mike Michalowicz works, and he certified me to help you implement the system in your business. Remember, the new equation is sales minus profit equals expenses. Let's face it, without cash flow, you can't pay your employees, buy needed materials, or pay your mortgage and support your family. I help you to do that and more, so you can focus on the parts of the business you love and receive the rewards for your labor and investment into your business. The stronger you are as a business owner, the more jobs you create, the better we are as a country. Small business owners are the backbone of America, and for that, you deserve to be well rewarded. Just remember, more revenue does not equal more profit. That's why we focus on the bottom line. Happy New Year. Welcome to 2024. Today, you've got just me. I want to talk about all of the different things that we talk to our clients about so that you can have that conversation with whoever you're working with, or maybe it's just with yourself. And that's fine too. But all of these things are ideas and topics that will allow you to make 2024 a year that you're thrilled with. First and foremost, we'll talk about how we define what 2024 should look like. Because at the end of the day, if we haven't defined success, how are we going to know if we've achieved it? So let me give you a classic example. Imagine going to a football game. Now, we're talking Major League, NFL football game. You walk in the stadium and you look down at the grass, and there's no lines anywhere. Nobody's got any idea where the first down is, or the second down, or the 50-yard marker, or where the end zone is, for that matter. On top of that, there's no scoreboard. There's no game clock. There's no referee to say, hey, you did this right. You created a foul. You making sure that everything is being done appropriately. Here's my question to you. If we took away those simple things that you take for granted on a football field, would you still watch the game? I don't think anyone would. How do you know what quarter it is if you don't have a calendar? Same thing happens in your business. How do you know what a good score is? Last month we had 100,000 in sales. Is that good or is that bad? Well, if you were expecting 50, it's phenomenal. If you were expecting 200,000 in sales, well, that isn't so good. In the same way that there's yard markers on the field, did you make progress? Did you move forward or backward? Do you have more leads coming into your business? How much of this have you defined and laid out for 2024? Now, I'm going to walk you through this in the most basic of ways. I think people put too much anxiety and complication and struggle into this. A lot of what we do can be done backwards and forwards. What I mean by that is you can say, hey, my goal for this year is $1 million. Okay. If my goal for this year is $1 million, how much am I going to sell every single month so I get to $1 million? Maybe you do it the other way. Maybe you say, hey, look, every month I'm going to sell $80,000, and every month I want to grow my sales by 2%. Well, lay that out for every month for the year, and that at least tells us what we're shooting for. And every month you can then say, did I hit it? Thumbs up. Did I not hit it? Thumbs down. And what am I going to do? Once you know what your top line sales are, let's start breaking it down. Some business have cost of goods, right? If I'm selling teacups, I have to buy the teacup and deliver it. Same thing, if I'm selling an HVAC system, I have to buy it and deliver it. If you're selling services, right? There's a cost of delivering the services. Here's what I do. I just look at it for the year and I go, on average for our business, our cost of goods or our cost of services is X percentage. So it might be 20, it might be 50, it might be 70%. And I just take the sales and I multiply it by that number, and that's my target for cost of goods. That's simple. Next, I sit down and I look at my costs. So what are my number one costs? For most business, payroll. So what's my monthly payroll? Don't forget, a couple months a year, 4 to be exact, there's might be an extra week of payroll in there or an extra payroll depending on how you pay people. So also put that in and just lay it out for the year. On top of that, we've got overhead. Here's the thing. Just add it all up. Add up the phone, the software, the rent, everything else that you're paying on a monthly basis. Come up with a total number. You can even use this year's number. What was your total overhead for this past year? If you're fairly consistent, divide it by 12. If you've got some seasonality, throw some seasonality into it. If you think it's going to be a little bit higher because of inflation or because your sales are going higher and you need a little bit more or it was tight, take the number, divide it by 12, throw it now on your spreadsheet. The only thing left is now marketing. How much are we going to spend on marketing and when are we going to spend it? Just lay that out and that's it. So we've got our sales minus our cost of goods. That tells us our gross profit. And you want your gross profit to be at least 30%. If you don't have a 30% gross profit percentage or higher, I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to struggle. Put down your monthly payroll, your monthly overhead, and your marketing. And when you're done, that's your net profit. It's really that simple. And lay it out for the year, and you're done. Now, every month, all we're going to do is measure how we did against that. And we can say good or bad. Now, if you're looking for growth or maybe otherwise, ask yourself, how am I going to hit this sales goal? How is it going to happen? How many of my widgets do I need to sell to make that happen? A lot of people just come up with crazy sale goals. They come up with a number that's 50% higher than what they did this year. Well, here's my question to you. If your goal for January is 50% higher than it was in December, how are you going to do that? You should have a reasonable explanation of what that's going to do, because January is probably not going to be much different than December, depending on your business. If you're in the retail business and December was big for Christmas, I assure you, January is going to be return month, and it might not be pretty at all. So ask yourself, how are we going to hit those goals and what do we need to be able to do that? Next up, let's take a moment to ask yourself, what do I want from my business? Now, you might do this before you actually set your goals because that might tell you what your goals should be because this is what you want for your life. See, your business is supposed to serve you. You are not supposed to serve your business. And we can work this backwards or forwards, but figure it out for what you need and what you want for your business and make sure that's in line with what we just put together to say that you're going to do this year. Next up, what are the risks that I have to face this year? Do I have employee risks? Is someone going to leave? What about supplier risks? Is one of my suppliers on shaky ground, or am I getting everything from one place and maybe I need to look for an alternative? Here's the real question. How are my clients doing? Are they on shaky ground? Are they struggling? By the way, do they owe you money? Is your accounts receivable real high and they're taking forever to pay you? That's a problem. Sit down and have conversations with them. Hey, what's your business outlook for this year? How do you think it's going? They're going to start to tell you how they feel. See, people who feel good spend money. People who don't feel good aren't going to buy your products. And you might now need to go back and adjust that forecast that you created. Next thing up is annually, we check in on our culture. We said this is what our culture is. Well, I hope you said it, because if you didn't, somebody else did. And maybe it's time to sit back and look at your culture again. Ask yourself, are we doing what we want to do? Is it working the way I want to? Am I excited to come into my company in the morning? Because if you're not excited, nobody else is going to be excited either. So make sure you've put the time in, revisit that, and maybe it's time to remind people, hey, this is our culture. This is where we're going. This is our vision. This is what we're planning. And make sure you're talking about that. If you're still not sure about this, follow me on LinkedIn. Usually once, twice a week, I do a short live and I ask a question that kind of allows you to think about these things. It's called The Road Less Stupid. It's a wonderful way of learning from other people's mistakes instead of making your own. Now, let's review our marketing. Does it work? Are we getting a return on the dollars that we're spending? Same goes for employees. Are you getting a return on the dollars you're spending on your payroll? Are your people productive? Is your marketing productive? Are your tools, your equipment, your office, does it all make you money? Too often we throw money at things, or we sign up for things and we stop using them, or they're not providing a return to us. If that's the case, you've got to sit down and say, hey, maybe it's time to stop doing something. Maybe it's time to start doing something. As you look at your business, take the time to think through all of this. This is the perfect time of year. It's the beginning. Everyone's ready to do something different. Now, up till now, everything we've talked about affects your profit and loss statement. Are we profitable? Are we not profitable? The next thing we need to do is start to understand our balance sheet. See, wealth and your business success is built on the balance sheet. And that's also where your cash leaks. So where are the leaks on the balance sheet? Well, we talked about one, if people owe you money, depending on how your books are done, it might book a sale, but you don't have cash. The other thing is if you're making loan payments, the capital part of your loan payment isn't showing up. So it's not really on your P&L, but you're spending money. And so you should be aware of that because that's where your profit is going. What about inventory? Are you buying a lot of inventory? Is it sitting in your warehouse? If you're in the trades, is your inventory sitting in the back of somebody's truck being wasted? Do you even know that? That kind of leads us into our next conversation. What are the systems and processes that you have in place? And what are the changes that need to be made for this year to improve those systems and processes and to remove friction. Last year we were doing the Q&A calls, and one of the biggest things I learned was the amount of friction it took to sign up to get on that call. People just wouldn't go through the process. I didn't realize it because I didn't test my system. And that's what you've got to do throughout your business. How easy is it to come to your website, to click a button, to call you, to talk to somebody, to say, hey, we're interested in doing business with you? How easy is it to pay you? That is the most important thing. Do you have payment options that your clients like to use, and make it simple that they hand you their money? Because if they're not handing you their money, you're not making money. That's just the bottom line. By the way, if you haven't started Profit First, now is the time. And here's why. Relay Bank has made this so simple, right? It's January. Everyone's going to the gym. Everyone's trying to work out, go on a diet, all these things. Most people are going to fail. It's just the reality of the numbers. But imagine if you could send somebody to the gym for you, put them on a diet, and you would lose weight and gain muscle. Now that is definitely a product that's going to make you billions. I haven't figured that one out, but I have figured out how to do that for Profit First. And that's what Relay does. You go into Relay, you open up your bank accounts, you set your systems up with Relay, and they'll move your money automatically for Profit First. They'll do a set percentage on a set schedule, or if you want to do a fixed dollar amount and a certain schedule, they're going to do all of that for you. There's absolutely no reason, if you haven't implemented Profit First, that you can do it with them. It's free, right? Which is kind of in our Profit First mentality of, we don't need to use more resources. Let's be more resourceful and figure it out by using systems and processes that are either very inexpensive or free. And I love free. Next up, I think this is really, really big for 2024. How is AI playing into your business? It could be something as simple as writing emails. It could be a whole host of other things. It can help you with your business planning. I've taught ChatGPT how to have conversations to help me think through items. We use it for our social media. We use it for show notes. I use it to judge and help give me feedback on my sales calls. I use it to better understand if I'm best serving my clients and how can I do a better job. It's helping with a ton of different things. What AI really does for me is it gets me from stuck and not knowing where to begin to having a framework that I can then work with and dramatically improve very, very quickly. It's getting you from 0 to 1 because, as I said, from 1 to 100 is easy, and it's actually getting you from 0 to 50. The other thing is it helps me tell better stories. So if I've got a story, I send it into AI, and AI brings it back to me with an even better story. You've got to learn the AI prompts. You've got to learn how to talk to it, how to question it, and how to bring all of that together. When you do that, it's thumbs up. It's great. It works well. And I think it's going to play a lot of different roles in business. I'm starting to see that they're talking about building an entire team on AI. They've got AI chatbots. We talked about sales. AI supposedly is doing bookkeeping and all of that. I'm not that thrilled because it goes back to the old days of garbage in, garbage out. And if somebody hasn't figured out how to do it properly, it's not that great. And here's the truth of it. AI lies. Well, it doesn't lie. It just doesn't know the difference between the truth and a lie. And so you may not get the right information. And if you're not going to challenge it, you might get yourself stuck in a problem that should not be in. So something to think about with regards to that, but it's definitely a game changer for businesses. Think about when the website started to come around and everyone started talking about online shopping. Yes, the world has changed. Amazon turned into a massive company because it was a leading edge of that. But also in that process, there's a lot of companies that didn't make it. And you've just got to navigate, figure it out for you and how you're going to incorporate it into your business. One other thing is tax planning. All right. Now is not the time to have tax planning conversations with your CPA. They're about to get into busy season. Your bookkeepers are all trying to tie up 2023. Get your 1099s out. It is not too late, depending on the retirement plans, to make retirement plan contributions. So that is the one thing I would talk to my tax person about. I would also schedule out for, June, July to have a tax conversation, and October, November to have another tax conversation to say, hey, what are the different things we can do so that we can pay less in taxes without spending more money? So it's about the way you do things, corporate structure. All of these things should be reviewed every so often. And why you did something to begin with may not be why you need to do it today. And so it's that constant check-in always to make sure that you're doing things appropriately. At the end of the day, what this really comes down to in simplicity is you got to work on your business instead of in your business. So we're back where we started. What direction do you want to go? How do you get there? How do you get out of the day-to-day grind? I don't want you to work harder. I want you to work less and make more. So how do you get yourself out of the business? What are the different things that you don't enjoy doing that you can turn over to AI or a system or a process or something else? The biggest things we did in 2023 was get out of email, get out of things that I don't like doing, and let somebody else do it. And knowing that it's not going to be perfect, but as long as it's pretty good, I'm happy because I get my life back. And that's really what's most important. Another big change for 2024. This is the last episode that is going to be audio only. So most of you are probably listening on a podcast player. You'll still be able to do that. We are going to add video and start releasing it on YouTube. And so you'll be able to see myself and the guest live in color on YouTube on the same channel that we're currently releasing on YouTube. So if that's of interest and you want to see that, great, we'll be there. I don't know what else we're going to do for next year. I think we're going to do more shorts and creating more things to share with you. And that'll happen little by little because I'm getting the stuff off my plate that I don't want to do, as I said, which is now going to give me more time to do the things that I really want to do. We're exploring what that looks like. I'm still not sure. If you've got questions, you can always email me. We've got programs for you regardless of where you're at on this journey. So whether you're a startup, you're at $500,000, you're at 5 million, wherever you are, our systems, processes, and offerings can meet you in that space. Now, for those of you who are smaller business owners, it's going to be more do it yourself. As long as I've got time, we've got the add-ons where you get the same level of support and feedback and everything else that we give our regular clients, even as part of the course. I can only do that for so much longer because at some point I'm going to run out of time. If that's something you've been waiting for or thinking about, just go ahead and pull the trigger on that. Make 2024 your year to really thrive and to grow. So as we wrap this up, a couple things I just want to bring back to you. Set your goals, put numbers to those goals, because just like that football game, you don't know what quarter it is and where you are on the field and how you're doing. Yeah, no one's going to follow you. It's just the reality of it. Make this game exciting. Have that scoreboard. Make sure you've got the right people in the right seats doing the right job. Stop trying to do everything. Figure out how you can get rid of it. That doesn't necessarily mean you need to hire people. Like I said, there's so much automation and AI. We've done a ton of episodes on that. Maybe you pay somebody to set up your automation or set up your AI or do something there to help you get out of the grind and just have that clarity and make sure your business is serving you. I don't want you to be a slave to the business. So I'm kind of repeating these things. Now is a good time to just go back to the basics, reevaluate everything as we get this year started, and ask yourself, at the end of this year, what's going to make it a great year? And then go do the work to make that happen. And as I always say, I don't want you to spend more money. I don't want you to go out and necessarily be bigger and use up more resources. I want you to make profit a habit and make enough money to serve you and be thrilled and be happy and do what you want to do to serve the world. Get rid of everything else. Just learn that simple, lovely word. No, I'm not doing it. And have fun. Because if you're not having fun, I don't know why you're doing this. Let's make 2024 your most profitable and fun year yet.
If you'd like for us to be a part of your profitability journey, we have different programs available ranging from do-it-yourself to one-on-one coaching. Our course, The Profit Blueprint, teaches you everything you need to know to transform your profitability. There are 3 different tiers ranging from DIY to done with you so that businesses of all sizes can get the support that's best. Join the waitlist in the show notes to get more information and be a part of the next cohort. If you want a done-for-you service, you can hire us as your chief profitability officers. We only work with a handful of clients, so they all get our full attention. We work with business owners who have or are growing to $500,000 to $10 million in revenue. You can use the scheduling link in the show notes to get on our calendar for a good fit conversation to see if we're the right people to support you and how we can help you.
This episode of the Profit Answer Man podcast is brought to you by SMBpodcastnetwork.com. The network is a collection of podcasts and shows from around the internet which focus on bringing you interviews with amazing guests who share actionable advice, ideas, and information for small and medium-sized business owners and entrepreneurs. Visit www.smbpodcastnetwork.com to find more great shows and easily subscribe to be notified of new episodes. It's a great way to discover quality content. If you've discovered us via the network, then I hope you enjoy today's show and will consider subscribing directly so you never miss our episodes. Remember to check out my other podcast, Richer Soul, where we talk about how to live the ultimate life and be the best business owner you can be. As we close out, let's repeat the mantra. Revenue is vanity, profit is sanity, and cash is king. Have an abundant and profitable week.